and welcome to the Daft Souls podcast, episode number 15. And today I'm joined by Aoife.
Hello.
And Gav.
All right.
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks very much for asking.
Okay.
It's been a very hot day today in the UK, which is rare.
Way too warm.
So we've been baking away. We're now enjoying a very
Especially
nice...
because, like, you two are quite fair-skinned. Like, you're pretty much see-through.
Yeah.
Like, so you must fucking
I reflect
hate
the sun. It's horrible. And as well, I'm kind of like quite small, so when I'm on the tube, I'm pretty much armpit height with everyone else. It's nasty.
Quite grim. But hopefully we're now in a slightly more chilled zone with some slightly chilled drinks.
Yeah, it's
Probably going to listen to some more Chiba or something.
I'm going to take my fucking hoodie off. How about that?
It is the chill
Take
out
it
zone.
all off.
Take it all off. It's fine. There are no judgments. No judgments here. So I thought, I'll kick it off a bit this week because I've actually been playing a game, which is
What?
I know, right? Amazing, stunning. Well, the reason I'm playing a game is actually because I've decided to quit playing DotA. Dota 2.
Oh, wow. Why?
Why are you quitting?
I'm quitting because...
Cold turkey?
I kind of had this realisation. Obviously, Dota 2, for those who don't know, it's like a big competitive esport thing. You probably know what it is.
It's not going to work. I was trying to open it.
Trying to open the can of beer silently. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah. It's more when you get on regular features of it. It's just like,
It's true. It's sort of, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the international's happening, and the international is a massive kind of competition where, like, it's the point almost where, like, every year they reassure you that what you're doing isn't insanely a big waste of time. Because
But it's an insane prize pool in that, right?
Yeah, more money than, like...
What is it now?
Anything else.
What is it there?
It's like, it must be about...
At least $1 million.
$7 million or something,
right,
I think. Unless I've gone insane and forgotten.
Well,
that.
they started with $1 million, so it must be like...
Yeah, because every time you can buy these like compendiums, which are like, it's a digital fake. Basically, it does loads of stuff. The compendium's almost like, it's like a sticker book. So you can get all the people who are competing in the thing, and you...
I don't even play that game.
But it's not a real sticker book, it's a digital sticker book. Okay. And you collect digital stickers and you fill it up and you get stuff, and you level up this sticker book and then you get more rewards. And it's like, it's all very clever and all very smart way of making you want it and making you buy it. But I don't know, it's this thing of like, I'm not really interested in the sports side of thing. I think because it's a sport. I don't know about you. I've never been into sports. I think that's why I like video games. While everyone else was out in the street playing football and hockey,
same. Yeah.
I'm just gonna play Zelda. Like,
yeah, no, I was into video games, but I am really into sports as well. So like the rise of esports, like I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to sports and that as well. So I'll watch videos of people doing things, playing games. Like I'll watch Dota videos. I'll never ever play that game, like ever. Yeah. Like I'll watch the Call of Duty World Championships. Like we've been there like the last 2 years.
Now,
I'll watch those, and I'm genuinely interested in like the teams
I do like
and
the
stuff like that.
competitive
Exactly,
element to it, yeah.
But I'll never play those games. But yeah, I don't know. For me, like, that's one of the cool parts of it.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, and I think especially at the moment, because I'm definitely one of the people of that generation that this year at E3 and looking at the current state of console games, especially it being like, I saw today there's a news story which is like, hey, the drop in co-op in the new Crackdown is going to be much better than it used to be, and I'm like, it seems all right to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like they're really gearing up games now for this sort of always online multiplayer, social aspect.
Well, we had a community event for XM last week, and it was we had a bunch of Microsoft games, and people, like a couple of like readers in to play it, which was really cool. But yeah, like literally every title there was co-op multiplayer, like Fable and Forza. And obviously Evolve and stuff like that. Yeah. But like that's just...
You see, Evolve, I love the look of, actually.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I think something that's been specifically made, especially, for that kind of asymmetrical multiplayer. I'm up for that. I like that. But it's the fact that it's now a part of every game. And I feel odd because it makes me feel like a fuddy-duddy being like, I just want games I can play on my own. But I think it's a...
I do. I prefer single player.
I don't play any multiplayer games, really. Like, I played Borderlands 2 because it's with someone in my house.
I kind of feel it's to do with what the medium is because what it's been for us. And I feel like with our generation, it was something a bit introverted in a way.
Yeah.
And by the time that multiplayer came out, it was more of a kind of an odd gimmick almost.
Well, gaming isn't really, for the introverted anymore. It's for everyone. Whereas when we were growing up, like, that was kind of like what everyone who gamed was a little bit broken. And I like to think we all still are a little bit. We all have our little like sort of quirks and stuff. But nowadays it's like,
I think that's the fascinating thing is it's like in 10, 15 years time, the idea, I think for some people who are growing up now with these games, the idea of like sitting and playing a game on your own without any kind of interaction with any other
anything,
people, that will seem really odd.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, why would you want to do that?
You don't even post like a screenshot to your social media or anything,
Whereas I think for us, it does...
It was a very private thing to do, right?
It does resemble that. Yeah, it does like... Yeah, and I think I kind of miss that sometimes.
But
and
like,
actually,
didn't you, like, because for me, I was a proper like single player PC gamer all the time.
Yeah.
And then, except for like LAN parties and stuff like that, so I was a proper
LAN
nerd.
parties, man.
But then, as soon as when I went to uni in my first year, I bought an Xbox and obviously I had Halo, and then that was it because it was just like everyone had heard about everyone in my. I lived in like a sort of mixed dorm. So I had a guy who lived with me as well, and everyone was like, "Oh, you got an Xbox? You got Halo?" And it was just like our room was like the Halo room. Then like,
oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm exactly the same, and actually, I think that's why I'm currently really into board games. Is because I kind of feel like online games have lost that in a way. You're playing with more people, but there's less interaction and there's less like feedback and the fun of actually sitting and laughing at your friends in the same room.
I miss playing games with people. Like, I mean, you know, it was like the SNES and Mario Kart, and just like everyone being in the same room. Like I used to play. I grew up with some of my best friends. We played single player games together. We just passed a controller around, you know, like that was
Final
just
Fantasy VII with my friend like all the time. Like, but I think like the Wii U sort of hit upon that. Like, you know, in the first couple of things, like I think Nintendo Land, like Mario Chase and stuff like that, like. I haven't had as much fun playing like an actual video game with people in the same room for fucking years.
But it's tough because you've got this situation where like it's almost like because the more convenient option exists, it seems crazy not to do that. So I've got friends who play games and it's like I could say to them like, oh, do you want to come around and play a game at my house? We'll sit next to them and play a game. But they might be like, well, we've both got this game. Why don't we just play that now? We could get on Skype, we could play this.
And
it's like, the problem is that seems like a better option, and it isn't always. And basically what I've got to with Dota is it's like this realization that what I've been doing with Dota is I enjoy it, but I've been really using it as a way to be social. And I've been using it like on evenings when I'm on my own and I'm bored. And I sort of think, what should I do? And I sort of think, I'll play some Dota because it feels social, but it isn't. Because
I used to do the same thing with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I played that for years, and like I just like I have memories of my best friend coming around to my house on a Friday night, being like, "You coming out then?" And I'm like, "No, I've got my mates here. We're going on a raid, man. Like I've got a schedule to stick to." But I think that's
really interesting because like when we went to Eve Fan Fest, like I went there and spoke to a load of people who play Eve, and like I will never ever install Eve. I'll never play it, anything. But I spoke to this like family, and it was a wife and a husband, and they had some kids who were getting their face painted as their parents' characters at the time, and they were saying that, you know, the wife was saying, you know, her husband was always playing this game, and but in the end he was just like, she was like, what are you playing? And he explained it to her, and then she had missed out on a social life because she had two very, very young kids, so she started playing Eve, and she was like, now Eve is my social life because you can have a social life in your living room as well as be a really, really good parent and stuff like that. And I found that really interesting.
Absolutely. And it's like, I don't want to demean that, and I don't want to sound like I'm talking down about that as well, just for listeners.
No, everyone's different.
But it's more to do with the fact that I think now I'm working from home, especially, it means that it's very easy for me to just get into a situation where I'm just spending days on end when I'm not seeing anyone.
Where you leave the house.
Or leaving the house. And I think that's just like, A, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And B,
that's your problem.
It's a social problem. But it's also a gaming thing. It's like, you know, I want to be keeping up with games. I want to be keeping up.
And
it's
playing
too
new
tempting.
things, right? You could stick to that for
definitely.
It's too tempting just to sit and play comfort games again and again and again. And it's not even that social, because the thing is, and this is the thing with I found with World of Warcraft, is it was social at first because it was just exploring and
once
making
you get to
friends.
the end game, it's
you
not
get to the
like
end
that
game,
at all.
and the only social interaction is basically you concentrate doing a very specific job skillfully.
And you have to do it the exact same way every single time.
Yeah, and I mean that's what Dota is. It's like it's a bit of banter at the start of a match and at the end of a match and in between. But when you're playing, you're mostly just very concentrating on very specific technical tasks, and it's satisfying. It's addictive, and it's addictive, and I think in a way that isn't not like World of Warcraft. It's not addictive because of the loops. It's addictive because it's so satisfying to feel so skilled. Yeah, because it is such a really skillful, fast-paced.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing instead is I've been thinking, well, no, you need to play more games. And funnily enough, I've stumbled straight into a game which has taken me right back to the stuff we were talking about that feeling of insular kind of focus.
Yeah.
That for me and for our generation, I think games are so important. I've been playing Divinity, Original Sin.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot of good things about this.
It's great. It's really good. It's one of these things where it's like it reminds me a lot of like Baldur's Gate 2.
I want a really good RPG to get into. I feel like I haven't played a new, like I go back to the same RPGs again and again and again.
It's worthy. It is. I mean, it's not as good as those games. The writing isn't quite as strong. The characters aren't quite as strong. But it does lots of modern things that are really cool. And I mean, the thing is, it's like this is kind of a weak thing for me to say as a critic because it's not very descriptive, but it's just totally taking me back. I feel like I'm 13 again. I spent the weekend just in here on my own, just playing it.
I miss that though, right? Do you remember those days when that was the only thing you had to worry about? Do you know what I mean? Like you could just play a game like for days on end.
You know, I've just finished. I'm not going to make the video until probably start making it next week because I want to make a Dark Souls 2 video soon. Because for fuck's sake, how long? I mean, I'm getting way behind. But I do end it with that. It's like it just makes me feel. It made me feel like it took me back to that time in my life where somebody was going to make my dinner, and somebody was just
like endless summers where you didn't have to think about it.
And like somebody might offer me a cup of tea, and I just had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And it was almost weird because it was like I haven't done that. I haven't sat for so long. I think on Sunday, on the weekend, I sat for about best part of 10, 11 hours just doing very little else apart from popping out to get food.
That sounds
and I
good.
felt weird. I felt spaced out. And I hadn't felt that kind of spaced out thing from games in so long.
Yeah, I want that, but I feel intense guilt when that
Yes.
happens. Like, I just think, I don't know if it's come from being like 29, but, you know, even that I work in games, I just feel so guilty when I do that, especially when it's sunny outside.
Well, it's when you count them up, you're like, what could I have achieved in these hours?
But then, in
you
fairness, I wouldn't have achieved anything.
Well,
what I would have done is
exactly.
gone to the pub and drank, or gone to the park and drank.
Exactly,
Yeah,
we're taught to feel guilty about that. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
really, if you're enjoying yourself, then what's
It's
the
fine to go
issue,
sit
you
in
know?
a park and throw a frisbee around and drink like 12 cans of Stella.
Not being any more
like,
productive.
No, everyone will be like, yeah. But if you sit in your room for 11 hours, everyone's like, what the fuck? Have we got like Unabomber?
Yeah, precisely. Like
That's mad.
It is mad, but it's difficult. You do feel guilty. I think we're in a lucky position because obviously it's what we do. So
We can kind of
we
explain it away a
can trick
little
our
bit.
brains into thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
And I mean,
To a certain extent.
to us precisely. I mean, the thing is, you know, I find it difficult. And that's the main reason I found myself thinking, I have time to play games. It's like, yeah, you've got to stop playing Dota all the time.
Yeah.
Stop playing that stuff. Really happy I'm doing it though. I mean, it's such an interesting game, Divinity. Like in the fact that it's kind of a bit shonky. It's made by Larian Studios, right?
Okay.
These guys make like crap games. Don't get me wrong. Like they make games that are so interesting.
Yeah.
And every time I play one of their games, I just want to love it because, I mean,
What other games have they made?
the last one I played that they made was actually called, it was Divinity game as well, but it was Divinity Dragon Commander, right? Now, Divinity
If
If
Dragon
I saw that,
Commander-
I'd literally be like, next.
You'd think that, right? You'd think that. But it was like, I read the description of it when a PR when I was working at video games sent me it, and I just read the description, I was like, I've got to check this out. Just because it's like...
You just feel sorry for the PR because you know the PR working on that. It's like,
Like,
looking across
No.
at me working on Call of Duty and just like, one day.
Not at all. I mean, when I was at Video Gamer, I was sort of luckily part of a train email thing which involved loads of PRs sending us stuff all the time. So I was kind of in a lucky position of not having to maintain those PR relationships, but also just constantly being fed stuff, like, you know, codes for games that
Yeah.
you check out. And when I read that it was like, right, you are like a military commander, right? But you're a military commander who can turn into a dragon.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back in the
But
room.
you're a dragon with a jetpack.
Fuck off. Why does a dragon need a jetpack?
I know, right?
Wait a second.
What's wrong with his wings? Is it like
can fly.
Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon?
Sure, you can fly, but like you
How
can
can
fly
you
even
put a jetpack
better with a
on a
jetpack.
dragon?
But right, this is the way the game works, right? This is
I don't think this guy's a very good dragon.
I made a preview.
Is he a
video.
dragon?
Is he a lizard? Is he just a lizard?
Fibbing.
I made a preview video of this game, and because it wouldn't capture in fraps because it kept crashing every time I tried to use it, I just drew pictures in MS Paint and just tried to explain what the game was like.
Right.
And I still, at that stage, had no idea. Like, I actually went and played the full version of the game when it came out a bit more, and I loved it. But I never really made a video on it because I didn't feel like I played it enough to work out what it was about. But like, you could bear with me right here. The way it worked is like, you're a dragon, right? But you're in control of the army.
Okay.
But the way the game was split into three different bits. You have this like big strategic map, which would like show you different areas of the world, and you'd have to like move, and each area would give you like bonuses in terms of like industry. You'd be like, oh, this is going to, you know, lots of money here, or like, oh, we'll be able to build these troops we get here, or like, oh, we'll have good control of this area, or this will improve politics here.
Yeah.
And there were like different political things, but it was all like the undead and the elves don't like each other. But you had all these people on your ship, and it had this like, a bit like in StarCraft 2. Like,
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
that. You could go around your ship and talk to people.
Yeah.
But then, so you had the strategic thing of you having to play, basically playing Risk and having to take over the world very gradually. But then you also, on your ship, you'd have to go and talk to people, and you had a political sub-game, which was affected by the strategic map. So your the way people felt about you was dependent on that. But then you also had to make really difficult decisions that involved, like,
lost me again.
The different. Right. Here's an example. It's really hard to. It's fucking hard to explain. There was a bit, right, where you get to choose who you're going to get married to, and the idea is you have an arranged marriage, and you get to meet all of these suitors,
right?
And you just get to choose who you're going to marry.
Okay.
Out of these 5 different women, and they're all from the different species.
Oh.
And it's like you literally have a situation where you can choose if you want to just marry the really beautiful elf woman,
Of course.
or you can choose to marry somebody for political reasons. Like you can be sensible. You can be like
marry the minger and just like.
Well, no, there's
become president.
It wasn't really like there was a minger, but it was like they were clearly your advisors were going, oh, you should really marry this person.
Yeah.
Like because.
Be like, shut up! You haven't got to fuck her.
But then I remember because I knew I was intrigued and I was like, I reckon this is going to go badly. Like, so I purposefully married like the hot one, thinking I want to see how the game deals with this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she's just trouble because then she's an elf. She's a vegetarian.
Was she set up for being?
Like
this is the obvious.
She's like Ty's wife.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean,
It's done sleep with everyone.
it wasn't like too black and white.
We all know how that ended.
Exactly.
It wasn't too black and white. There were a couple who were clearly like. I mean, obviously the undead one. The undead in this game are just skeletons.
Well,
Why did you marry her?
Precisely. I mean, that's the thing. But then it's like actually.
Maybe she had a really nice personality.
Yeah. Imagine your family letter, like the Christmas card that year. Yeah, Matt's going to marry a skeleton.
Well, no, because the thing is, right, it was done like it was an arranged marriage, and the fact that a lot of the people would just talk to you and say, I'm sure I'd be a great wife, I'm sure you'd be a good husband, It was like, it wasn't, they were them trying to woo you. A lot of it was quite matter of fact, but then this elf was just going, please marry me. And I was like,
You fell
for it.
Well, no, I thought the
It
game's
sounds like you
gonna-
fell for it.
I
You were
thought-
like, she's fucking hot.
I'm tapping that.
I thought to myself,
Look at those tit physics.
oh boy. No, I was like, I like sometimes choosing the bad option in the game and thinking
Just to
like,
see what would
just to see
happen.
what's going to happen. And I
did that for like Walking Dead, the first chapter, and I was just like, what are you
I
doing?
can't do that.
Everyone is shit now.
But in this one, it was like, I didn't see how far it got bad, but there was a situation quite early on where she had to go to a dwarven feast, and she was like, I'm a vegetarian. And you have to basically be like,
Awkward.
you have to
What a
basically even
cunt.
say to her, oh, don't eat the food, and because you're a vegetarian, or you have to be like, well, you've got to, don't be impolite.
Why can't she just pretend to eat the food or something?
And I think it really kicked off. I can't remember what happened, but I think she got put in jail or something. Like,
Christ.
the thing is, like, that's the thing. Is,
Oh, like, so if she didn't eat the food, she would offend someone? Or...
I think basically the thing
How
is,
to pick the bits of meat out.
it's really nice the fact that they ask you these questions and you have to make choices. And because you've got all the different races that don't like each other, every choice you make pisses somebody else off.
Yeah.
And it affects stuff. Like, it's like, oh, well, now you've just lost these resources. Like, so then when you actually have the strategic map, like Risk, and then you have like Command and Conquer RTS, where you're a dragon who fucking...
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Yeah. You build units, and this bit was really shonky. It was kind of enjoyable, but really crap. You build loads of units, you send this army across the map to destroy the other armies, but meanwhile, after you go...
Shit's kicking off.
Basically, at any point you can press a button. It's Command and Conquer, right? You just go, these troops go over there, but at any point you press a button and your dragon just appears, and then suddenly you're controlling a dragon, and you fly around firing fireballs, casting spells with your jetpack. Well, the jetpack's awesome because it basically means you can just immediately go across the map, start fighting another fight, and but it's mental how like you make a decision, like you say something wrong to your wife, and then she's angry with you, and then suddenly you've got less units in the next fight because, and the way it all ties together, it's like, don't get me wrong, as a game it was like clearly pretty wonky.
I would still choose it even with all this information.
I don't think
sounds
you
like
get
she could
to
run my
worth the
show,
trouble,
and that's what I need. Yeah.
I don't think
I need that. Yeah.
You don't get to actually simulate sex with a dragon and a lady. Gav.
Well, I won't play this game, man.
I'm glad we cleared that up. But the thing with this Divinity game that I love is the fact that it does stuff like it doesn't tell you where to go. The quest log is just literally a journal. It just like tells you what you know so far, and it's like, oh, you got to, apparently there's something going on in the church, and you can't click a button and it won't show you where the church is. It'll just be like, there's a bit early on. It's like, oh, there's apparently some ghosts in the lighthouse. Where's the lighthouse? West.
Well, I just know
go and
nothing
find
about
it.
light.
And it's like
Ever.
the thing is, it's like
Avoid the lighthouse because there's ghosts there.
Ghosts.
They
Brilliant.
managed to
Lighthouse ghosts.
fill everything in the world with like real kind of density and detail that even when you're just wandering around, it's the first game in ages in RPG where I haven't felt like a dick for wandering off down a path, thinking about it's just gonna be a shit treasure chest at the end of it.
Yeah.
It actually rewards you with like nice little nuggets of things
lore and stuff.
and also the fact that you don't feel like, how back in the old days, like in RPGs, you used to be able to just work out how to do things. And sometimes if you couldn't work out how to do a quest properly, you could fudge it.
Yeah.
Just by doing something mad.
Or by like taking too long or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's sort of become common that it's like, hey, we're going to give you 3 different choices. Which one are you going to choose? Do you want to do it the nice way, the bad way?
Signposted, yeah.
I got stuck on a quest, right? And I kind of... One of the earliest quests in this game is a murder investigation. And I just run out of ideas of how to work out what to do. And so I decided the only way to work out who it was just to start breaking into the suspects' houses and just looking for shit. And it lets you do that. It lets you, if there's no one nearby...
You saw it?
Yeah. If it lets you know, if there's no guards nearby, if there's no guards nearby,
They have a warrant or anything.
just smash doors down. And if you get caught smashing doors down, then they try and arrest you, and you have to you get in trouble. But even as you do mental things, like at one point I wanted to smash up a chest because I couldn't be bothered lockpicking it, I couldn't be bothered finding a key, but there were guards nearby, so I just took the chest. I just stole the chest, took it to the woods,
and then
smashed it on the ground, and then smashed it up. It lets you break the game in like ways that are just amazing. Like
that's quite fun.
It's a proper geeky RPG.
Yeah.
But the detail with how it works, like if there's a puddle, you can electrocute it. You can create a puddle by casting a rain cloud, which makes the ground wet.
That's fun.
Then you can electrocute that, or you can freeze it.
Cool, yeah.
Or if there's water on the ground, you can get rid of the water by firing a fireball, which turns it to steam. Then you can cast electricity at the steam to turn it into an electricity
really cool.
cloud.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
And you've got like the Dragon's Dogma style thing of barrels, like you can have a barrel of oil. Smash the barrel of oil and it's oil. Set fire to it. Or you throw a barrel of oil at some fire, it'll be a fireball, boom.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like I was 12 again, so anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What have you guys been playing recently?
I just come back from a Destiny preview, the Destiny beta event.
I'm going to download that tomorrow, I think.
As soon as this goes up.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
It's beautiful. Like, I didn't get that much chance to play it because I was talking to so many people who have played it, but I think before it'd come out, like I really sort of, in a really perverse way, wanted everything they've promised just to fall on its ass. Like, there's a really I love the people who are making. I love Hello Games. I love No Man's Sky, and I think it's going to be amazing. Those people are the best. But I sort of want No Man's Sky to come out, and everyone will be like, Emperor's New Clothes, like, this is shit.
really want that.
It's not going to happen because it's awesome. But there's a really a horrible part of me that really wants
the internet.
Yeah.
You've been infected by the internet.
There's a really big part of me that wanted Destiny to be like this massive mistake that Bungie had been going on for all these years, and then they're just like, oh my god, it's shit. It's fucking not shit. It's awesome. And I think in a way that really. I've got a really addictive personality, which is why I'm not allowed to play any RPGs, any MMOs. Definitely not anymore. Not allowed to go near any kind of online poker stuff. Not allowed to play Football Manager. Nothing like that. But there's something in Destiny that I was just like, this is tricking my brain, going, this is an MMO. Well, I don't care what you say. This is an MMO, and I was playing it single player, and I was like, this is a fucking MMO.
But I love playing.
It's so.
I love playing MMOs on my own. Again, it's the generation thing. I just like wandering around. I like sort of people watching as well, but I like to just potter about.
I like to be able to go off and do my own thing if I want to.
Definitely. Destiny's gonna let you do that.
I love the way they allow you to do basically the equivalent of wearing sunglasses. You can be playing World of Warcraft or something, and somebody can be like, hey you,
and you're like, nah.
Hey you, and you're just like, I've got sunglasses on, so I can pretend I haven't seen you.
I really want I want Destiny to be like the new thing that sort of everyone plays together. The last game I can remember doing that with was GTA 5. It was just really fun, having a group of people that you know in real life all playing the same game at the same time. So you knew when you signed on there would be a group.
Well, it's funny because
I think it's definitely going to be
that's what used to be that got me buying Halo games, because every time a Halo game came out, I'd switch on my Xbox and everyone would be on it. So I'd buy it and play it for an hour and then be like, fuck this.
Borderlands was like that for a while. Borderlands 2 was for the first
I just really want another one.
To be honest, why I'm excited about Destiny is basically I like the Borderlands games, but the more time I've spent thinking about them, the more I kind of feel like Gearbox they're not that great. I think the thing that makes Borderlands great is the formula. I think it's the characters and stuff.
It's the content.
I don't know.
The comedy's quite funny.
I think some of it's quite funny. I think some of it's a bit crap.
I just like the world.
But I don't know. That's just a taste thing. You know, that's just a taste thing. I think some of the writing in Borderlands 2 is really strong. I think some of it was just but I don't know.
It's a bit hit and miss, but then there was so much of it. It was bound to be.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I thought in the first game I couldn't stand Claptrap, in the second game I loved him.
Yeah.
But then in the second game everyone loved Tiny Tina, and I thought she was fucking annoying.
That was awful. But I reckon you could probably go through like write down the bits that you.
That's one of the risks, I guess. Though
write down the bits that you actually liked, and then be like, I bet that was all the same writer, and the bits you didn't like was probably all the same writer as well. Like.
Possibly. I mean, I think it's more as well like the fact that obviously it's one of the difficulties of making a game that is supposed to be comedy. Is that comedy is massively subject to like.
Of course.
But having said that, the DLC for Borderlands 2, the Torgs.
Oh yeah, that's classic.
So funny. Yeah. Like some of the writing in that game is so funny.
The Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons was very strong as well. And I actually never finished that. It's kind of an annoying thing about the way those games works is you kind of feel like unless you're a high level, you're going to struggle with it. So it actually gates you away from
actually keeping
story.
Going.
Yeah. Especially because I'm in that zone now. It's like I'm not going to go and switch. I've actually put my Xbox 360 in the cupboard. It's like it's done now. You know, I've got my PS4. I haven't actually played it yet, but I bought that for the beta actually.
Oh really?
I bought that for Destiny beta.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah, that's what I've been playing on today.
Just because I'm really intrigued to check it out.
Yeah.
Just because I love. Also, I've been really getting into my sci-fi. I've been reading more Ian M. Banks at the moment.
Yeah.
I love the highbrow, shiny surface sci-fi.
Yeah. Well, I was just excited to see more because they keep showing the same maps and stuff.
True.
And
I think they've really rubbed up press the wrong way with that.
yeah.
It's
Like, you can just show like
trying to demo it.
I've
like
only ever seen it as a shooter. I haven't really seen,
Yeah.
and I haven't been following it to be honest. But I haven't seen it like operating like an MMO. I've only ever seen. Like,
well, I think you'll be definitely surprised by the beta then.
Okay.
Like there was a load of people there today who were like playing it for the first time as well and coming from it going, I had no interest in this, but now this is going to be such a big game.
The first time I played it was at E3, and that was the Strike stuff, which was.
I got no interest in playing that.
I mean, I like a first person shooter, but like it just didn't really stand out for me. So like I want it to be good, but yeah.
It was interesting to see like today. So it was a press event, half journalists, half like community, like YouTube guys, and so once you go to level 5, you unlock the sort of multiplayer. The YouTube guys absolutely burned it. Like, man, it was so good. And it was just like, because they said like, once you get to level 5, you unlock multiplayer. They're like, oh, sweet. Let's get through this then. And it was like, it's really, really good. And then as soon as the multiplayer was unlocked, they were just like, right, let's play multiplayer. And I was watching them play and I was just like, they're so good already.
Yeah.
Like, and the press like behind still on like level 4.
What's the level cap for it?
On the beta, I think it's 8.
Oh, okay.
But you'll be able to carry everything over, I think.
Do they? Do you definitely carry it over? Because I know they weren't sure. Actually,
they weren't sure at the event. In fairness, but I think you'd think that you must be able to. Otherwise, this is all bollocks.
It's funny you say about like how the kind of YouTube, because the YouTube guys I always feel in terms of skill level anyway are more representative of actual gamers.
Yeah,
definitely. Only because they don't really spend as much time making. Well, they do spend time making content, but the way they make their content is usually just
all about
playing games and occasionally talking a bit.
Yeah.
But it's mainly about the playing.
I think people would be surprised at like how little, like if you're working in an office, that you do.
How little time you spend. And that's the thing is, I kind of felt like, especially when I remember when I was covering Borderlands 2 for like traditional media, I found myself just the only thing I could do was like, well, I'll just try and catch stuff, and I'll just try and have the best insights about tips and. How to play it.
You have to be very
Because you had to do those. I remember you had to do those like what's it called? Like each character.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I did them because I wanted to do them.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't like I had been told to do it, but I mean, I kind of felt like I knew the game enough to do it. But it's still that knowing that it's like all I can do here is try not to sound too much like a dad. Yeah. Because I know that like as soon as the game comes out, loads of people are going to go, huh. That point he made about this being an effective way to do this, it's much better. And it's I just
You just don't have the time though, do you?
I'm not that person. Yeah. If you want an in-depth critique of a 1990s style PC RPG,
you're not your man.
Hook me up.
Oh yeah, no, you're the man for that.
I am the man for that. God damn it.
But I mean, I think like when they say like, we're going to create this sort of like living, breathing world that's going to be constantly evolving.
Yeah, people say that.
Like, are you really? And just like when you look at it, you'll be like, actually, if they keep just pumping out stuff to do with this. I really wonder how much is going to be in the actual box that you get and stuff. Like, that's going to be interesting because you still don't know how much they actually give you.
It's a really tough one because it's like we're moving into.
And it's a full price game as well. So even though you're getting like these updates and that, like for free, I guess. Like,
I mean, are they going to be free or is it going to be DLC? I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we are in this weird no man's land now where it's sort of gone beyond. this thing of like, initially there was this zone of publishers trying to get you to keep your games for as long as possible because they didn't want you to trade them in because retailers were fucking them. And so it meant like, oh, you've got to keep it because we're going to do more stuff later. Yeah. But now it feels like we've gone beyond that, and it's this thing of like games starting to realise that actually you can make money out of a good customer for a long period of time. Yeah. It's not actually about stopping the trading, it's about having maybe less people buying the game, but having them invested in it.
Yeah, you have to invest them, but like it's not like a subscription model would work for a console. No. I mean, like that's like the Elder Scrolls Online was going to try and do that, and that's just
but it's weird because you can obviously get money from people in like different ways over a long period of time if people are invested. I mean, like, Dota does a great job of it just by being like, you like playing it enough. I must have spent about 80 quid on it over the past 2 years or whatever.
I've just moved into a new office I moved from an office where everyone was playing Hearthstone to another office where everyone's playing Hearthstone, and like and they were like, oh, did you play? And I was like, no, I don't allow myself to play games like that because I know what will happen. And then it's like, oh, like, I was like, well, how much have you dropped on it? And it was just like, one guy's like 200 quid.
Jesus.
One's like 120. One said he bought like 3 of the mega packs in one, which is about 140 quid, I think, on one payday. One guy who is pretty good, Tom Phillips, who is a Eurogamer, like, hasn't put a penny into it. And he's like pretty decent. Like,
it's like, that's their choice, I guess. They can choose to spend how much they want on it. And like, that's mad.
That's a way of printing money.
But what I find difficult at the moment is I find it hard to read like what the deal is now. When you've got a game with DLC coming out, I can't work out if it's like, hey, are these guys trying to go for the model of being like having a good fan base that they then keep supported with good stuff for reasonable funds? Or
and that's fine.
Is it the classic thing of don't throw your disc away or don't trade your disc in yet?
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm really worried about at the moment is the Dark Souls 2 DLC. This 3-pack.
It's weird,
setting off. I don't know what it is, and it is completely like
it's alarm bells, right?
It's setting alarm bells off.
But it's because at first, no, we're not doing it at all, and then it was maybe we'll do it, and now they're going fucking all in with 3 fucking plan packs, which is just crazy.
To me, it really feels like. I don't know, this is pure speculation, but it feels to me like Namco publishing Dark Souls 2 and all that stuff. Maybe because they went so hard on the promotion of it, they really expected it to sell better than it did, maybe. Because it's always hard to know what nutters are saying people, what they think, in the same way that like Square Enix thought that Tomb Raider was going to sell 10 million.
But that's the thing with the first Dark Souls, I guess. Like, it came out, people started playing it for ages, and then there was this huge sort of tail where people
it wasn't an immediate bestseller,
definitely
it was a very slow burner.
It seemed like people were talking about it all the time, which means the publisher's going, fuck, people love this game. It's like, people do love this game, but they're also picking it up for like a tenner because their mate like 8 months later is still going on about
Precisely.
it. People on the internet still
I kind of think that maybe what they thought was everyone who bought Dark Souls would probably
going to immediately go out and buy it.
And it's like, well, no, because lots of people who bought it decided it wasn't for them, or
played it for 5 hours,
are
probably still playing it.
I mean, that's the thing. But I don't know, it just feels to me that the whole triple pack, especially because of the fact that now obviously they may be working with Namco as a distributor, but they're clearly now like they've moved on they're self-publishing, right? I haven't made that up. I'm pretty sure there was a thing where they now...
I missed that, unless that's maybe PC only.
No, not with Dark Souls 2, with their future stuff.
Oh, I see, okay.
I think they've actually got themselves into a position where they're actually kind of like, I don't know, I can't remember, but it seemed like they've kind of got themselves into a nice position where they're going, hey, we're kind of doing our own thing now. And I don't know, everyone's like, you're going to check it out? And I'm like, I think it's going to be crap.
I saw the screenshots for it today. It's very, all I could think of when I was looking at it was Mines of Moria. I mean, it just looks very derivative. Like there wasn't really a lot that struck me as original, or it was just an underground tomb. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's really hard to describe though, because that's the thing is like ever since they announced it set alarms off. Especially because it just sounds so like, oh, there's 3 kings. Kill the 3 kings.
Like Ivory King
Get the 3.
and Iron King.
It just sounds like...
It sounds boring as fuck.
It does sound boring. And that's the thing is I loved the Abyss of Artorias.
Yeah, I mean, that proper
awesome.
Delved into the lore and was like a little bit different, Like this just sounds very generic.
Yeah, it does. That's the thing. It just sounds like video game stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine,
it sounds like it's a video game, and the Dark Souls series was always great because it didn't feel like a video game. It felt like something completely on its own.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But yeah, the Destiny beta should be awesome. I'm actually really looking. I went from not giving a shit about it at all to being like, I really want to check that out.
It'd be interesting if you can get people on, like 3 people on next week who are all playing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was hoping that one of the reasons I thought we'll get the PS4 is means I can actually play some, catch some, have some thoughts. Maybe I don't fucking know. But yeah, I've got like my list of things now. Just try and get on to the catch up with the PS4 wave thing.
Just get PS Plus, man.
That's the plan. Because I really have this thought. I mean, it's interesting. Like,
have you had PS Plus for a while?
No, I've never had
That's
it.
annoying.
Why?
Because even if you don't like...
You have a big
Well, no,
library.
because you can still download stuff all the time. Like, I didn't have a Vita, but I had a PS3, and you could still download the Vita games. So as soon as I got my Vita, I was just like, already had a library of these games. Once they go, they go. And I think if you haven't clicked to download it...
Well, I'm going to get on that
You
really
just store
quickly
them,
then.
yeah.
Because I'm well up for that. And I also think it's really cool the way that the PS Plus is changing. I think it's changing the way people play games.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that like you'd have week 1 of retail, and if people didn't buy a game en masse that week, that game's probably dead.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like you switch on your
rediscover a few
console,
things.
it's like, hey, this game's cheap this week, and
Yeah.
it's interesting how you can have games that get a second wind. And I feel like
Yeah.
And then also at the same time, like I literally, like you can look at a game and be like, am I going to buy that? Because that game is definitely going to be on PS
That's a
Plus.
PS
And
Plus
it's just
kind
like,
of
if you
game.
look like Infamous, like Second Sin, be like, shall I buy that? That will 100% be on PS Plus. It's just like, no, I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to wait till it comes on the
true,
thing, which is
actually,
a
it's,
really, really odd way of doing it.
it's
like,
a slippery slope as well. Especially they have to kind of hide. No, it's not. It's not a first party. It's not a first party game. No, it's not. We can't give this
You should definitely
for free.
get no rather
Yeah.
than wait.
You kind of
That's
just got
the
to
thing,
wait for them
yeah.
to fuck up. So wait for Sony to do their next major PR disaster,
Yeah.
and then just be like, "Give us Second Son."
Yeah.
Apparently, it was all right.
think
Apparently,
it
it had
might-
good colours.
It might have actually already been released on PS Plus. I don't know.
It might have been. It
Oh,
sounds
really?
like it could have
Yeah.
been.
There's a very good chance.
I tell you what, I was in a retail shop today for the first time, and in a while, and Jesus, I always
It's
forget.
like a
It's
wasteland.
but it's just odd.
What shop was it? Like what?
It was a game in Lewisham, and it was obviously when you walk,
Lewisham, fuck me.
when you walk into a kind of game shop, obviously you are bombarded immediately with some form of terrible music. It was very interesting terrible music there, wasn't there? I couldn't put my finger on what genre it was, but it was sort of music I thought, I should like this because it's interesting, but it was just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But it was bizarre, this whole thing about game going bankrupt, and now
so-
they're back on the mend, but they're doing everything exactly the same
It's
way.
awful though, because like the last time I went into a retail shop, and it shows you how long ago it was. I was trying to pick up a copy of Studio Ghibli game.
Oh,
Nina Kuni.
Nino
Nino
Kuni,
Kuni,
right?
yeah.
Didn't even know what it was. The guys behind the till did not know what it was, and it's like.
do you mean FIFA? Oh, I know you mean Call of Duty.
But you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have a clue. It wasn't. They didn't know that it was coming into stock. Like whatever, and like that's the people who buy games. They
Yeah.
fucking know what they want, and they know like
That's
when it's
odd,
coming
yeah.
out. And
I get the impression the game lost a lot of good staff at the point where they started backing the Wii and the
Right.
3DS
Yeah.
and DS massively. They started hiring lots of like young, sexy-looking people, and I think lots of like the old guard got pissed
that
off and fucked off.
But actually, like, there's two places in Brixton, and unfortunately, well, there's one place in Brixton that was amazing. It's called a Game Smash on the corner.
oh yeah, I remember
And they're
that.
brilliant. Like, they're really, really good. You go in, they're just like, oh, will you buy in? And they've got like a massive list. They're like, oh, do you want to pre-order any of the games? And like, even if not, it's like, oh, they actually sell the games really,
Such
really
a shame
early and
there's
stuff
not
as
that
well.
many independent
No.
like game stores anymore. It's the same with comic books. You just
Yeah.
don't see them. They're just again.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to make money in interesting odd ways as well.
Yeah.
And CEX has just opened like right next door to them as well.
fuck.
I'm really gutted for them.
But it's just odd. It's like, after Game announcing a few months ago, like, oh, we're fine now. We're back in
Yeah.
solvency. We've got new backers. So I went today. It's like fucking. They're selling like pre-owned games that I bought new
Yeah.
for less a year ago for more money. And it's like, what kind of fucking wacky tobacco are you guys fucking smoking there? I'm not paying £35 for a pre-owned 3DS game that came out 2 years ago.
I get
Madness.
followed on Twitter like on a weekly basis by another
By
game
game
shop.
store, yeah, I get the
like
same
it's
thing.
really weird. Like, and it's just like Game Telford
Yeah,
is
Game
following. I was
Telford
like,
or
God,
whatever.
what are you fucking doing?
That's
Get back
kinda
in the
good.
shop.
At least they're probably doing work while they're doing it. Get on the phone.
I wonder what they're doing.
They keep up
I
with
think
the news,
that's their,
I
but
suppose.
that's just their tactic. I guess they are keeping
Yeah.
up with the news. Like, well, obviously the people who didn't know what Nino Kuni were, but
I think that's probably not a bad idea because keep up with your news. Keep up. I don't know, but it's just weird. It's like I just looked at the prices and also the fact that I was like, oh shit, yeah, we're back into. I kind of feel like I'm hitting that cynicism point with games just because we've been around. It's not that we've been doing it for too long. We've just been around for so long that we see how cyclical everything is.
Yeah.
And now we've come back to that point where it's like, oh yeah, sure, games all cost £60 now. That's just the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, looking at the next gen shelf being like, oh, I've bought a PS4, maybe I could pick up a PS4 game. And it's like, A, there aren't any worth buying at the moment. And B, they're all 60 quid.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like, oh, Wolfenstein's on sale. It's
Yeah.
like only £35. It's like, that's how much
that used
games
to be
should
the
yeah.
and they
35
will,
is
but
like,
it's like every time they have a new gen, it's like Pre-owned games are now 50 quid.
Yeah.
New ones 60.
That's madness.
I was scrolling through like the questions earlier, and like one guy has asked like, have any of you gone next gen? I haven't yet, but you just bought a PS4.
I have, but I haven't switched it on yet.
Like,
I've got an Xbox One, yeah.
Obviously. But it's like, what game would you like? I was looking at all the games and stuff, and I was like, like Metal Gear, I'll probably get it for.
I literally the only reason I bought a PS4, and this is quite boring, but I bought it just for work because. Over E3 when they suddenly did that thing of going, boom, you can download all these betas and demos
Straight
now.
away,
I was like, no, that would have been good.
Awesome, yeah.
So I haven't really bought it for like any games. I've just bought it for the next time that somebody goes, oh wow, you can play this right now. I'm going to go, all right, I will.
I had a PS4. I mean, I lost it in a custody battle, but I'm going to get another one again, I think.
What did you win in the custody battle? Out of curiosity.
My dignity.
Which is better than a PS4, yeah, you're right.
I'd rather have that.
No, I'm definitely going to get a PS4 for No Man's Sky. Like, I would 100% buy a console for that game.
Definitely,
like, how it looks, I'm so excited.
I saw all the stuff that was on, like, GameSpot did, like, a huge, like, week on it, where they were just giving all this information and, like, new stuff about it. And I was just like, this is going to be fucking brilliant. But, as I said, there's a tiny, tiny bit of me that wants it to be absolute guff.
Did you see the video that...
I just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
It's like the man burn.
I just want to sit on top
Some
of the mic
worlds.
and watch everyone.
I obviously don't want it to be guff, but it would be awesome if they just released it and they were just like, it's like a really, really mad, like, it's just really, really shit.
I just can't understand how it's going to do everything that they promised it's going to do. Like, did you see the video where they were saying, like, basically they don't keep any of the information? Like, it's all based on algorithms. So if you, like, go to this, like, place...
It cooks it up fresh, basically.
But it gets it the same every time. So you can go back to the same place even though it doesn't store any of the information. Like, it's mental.
It's very clever, but I guess the problem with that is it means you can't really change much because if it's just restoring... Unless they've got...
Well, he says that it's basically the video, like Cam says, it's a very good example of chaos theory because like the guys when they're programming it are trying to like do different things. So like the example he gives is he puts flowers at the bottom of a tree. So he programs that and it goes in. But the knock-on effect of that is just like catastrophic. Like all these animals go and start eating the flowers at the bottom of the trees and then it's just chaos. Like everything just starts eating itself and like so there's just this weird balance that they're having to get right.
Don't be God, basically.
Yeah, like
being God is like loads of work.
Yeah, a massive amount. Like if that's got infinite combinations, like basically the game can't be random because then inevitably there will be like a world that's like all red.
So
or
basically,
all blue.
what we're saying is like that. If there is a God and he created the universe, this planet is quite good, but some of them are fucking shit.
Exactly.
Like most of them are just like a mess.
But that's exactly what it is, because like, I mean, for every Earth, there's going to be like some fucking...
Maybe that's why there's no life on other planets that were nearby us, because they're just all really shit.
Just got really bored.
I know, it's procedurally generated. Like, what are you going to do?
Oh, I tried doing this thing with the flowers at the bottom of the tree, and then it just collapsed, and now the temperatures are completely unlivable by any form of life.
I saw a keynote from Hilmar, the guy who makes EVE Online, and he was just like, he plays like anonymously in his game, I think, and he was saying that he was doing his little bits of like, because he was so boring. Taking this bit of like space rocks, mining over here, taking a bit of space rocks, mining over here, and he was part of like a big fleet. And the guy who ran the fleet was like, oh, hey, and who had the bigger ship was like, oh, by the way, I'm going on holidays for like 2 weeks, like real life holiday. Do you want to borrow my ship? So the guy says, so Hilmar, the guy who makes the game, was just like, I can't remember if it was anonymous or not, but I think it is. He says, anyway, I'll borrow the ship. He's like, obviously, fucking be careful, because obviously this is worth like real life money that I've built up. Don't lose it. So he's like, yeah, of course, that's fine. So he takes his ship. Now we can take like big rocks and mine them over here, and then come back even quicker and take even bigger rocks and mine them over there. So he's doing this, and he sets his little ship on a course, and he's like, oh, I'm going to make a cup of tea. So he goes off to make a cup of tea. Then his baby starts crying, so he goes home, so shit, starts talking to the baby. His wife comes home from work. Then he's like, oh, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want a cup of tea? They sit down. Then 2-3 hours later, he's like, oh, that fucking ship runs back in, and he's like looking on the screen. The ship has gone.
Oh,
like
fuck.
It's gone somewhere, and he's just like, what the fuck am I going to? It's worth thousands. So he's just like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's like, do you know what? I make this fucking game. I'm going to code the exact same ship. I know exactly how to do it. I'm going to put it back in the thing. And he's like, so he starts coding it, and he's like, yep, that's absolutely fine. He stops, and he's just like, he realizes for the first time that he's just like, I can't do this because that ship still exists in the world.
It's out there somewhere.
I'm going to code the exact same ship and I don't know what's going to happen.
That's like complete loss of control.
Yeah, and he's literally, that's the thing, and he's
creation.
literally just like, I don't know what's going to happen if I code this ship. They'll have these two exact replicas of ships.
God.
And he's like, I'll change the game.
That's
and he's just like,
mindfuck,
yeah, and if you make the game and you realise that, and he's just like, I can't do this.
That game's mad though. Like I remember talking to a couple of like the very high level players at a party at E3, and like they basically command armies.
Yeah,
like there are people who like but like in real life they'll like plan power cuts to people's houses.
That's all shit that goes down.
The economy is fucked up. Like they are mad.
I spoke to one of the devs and she was just really, really sad. She was like, I'm really, really sad that I work on a game that has been taken over by arseholes. Because it's like, you basically have created a world and gone, right, guys, you can run this world however you want, and unfortunately the way to run the world is to be an arsehole.
That is basically the most efficient way to get anything done.
I really hope that doesn't happen on No Man's Sky though. But I hope that it's not really shit. I don't really mean that. I hope that it's amazing, but I also hope it doesn't get taken over.
It's funny though, because you do tap into, like, I was actually chatting to a guy recently, and like, I think there is a funny thing within, games media, especially games media of our generation, we like a good story. Right?
Yes.
And Hubris is a great story, and so I think there is a real degree, especially with Destiny, to have like such a well celebrated.
Bungie,
And like, there's something about Bungie. It's almost like the fact that they don't really talk that much.
They're quite quiet.
Yeah. There is a quiet arrogance about them. Like a quiet, like
Rockstar
we know that we're really good at what we do.
We don't have to shut up.
And I mean, it's like, I'm not going to go at them for that, because that's ridiculous. This is like insanity talking. But I honestly think there is a degree of people being like, it would be good if it was crap, just because it would make a good story.
And we can all talk about it.
Oh, the best.
Imagine?
They fell from grace.
Well, it was like,
how sad.
No, exactly. When GTA 5 Online launched, and they put up this like trailer for GTA 5 Online. They were like I genuinely, my heart was racing because I was stressed by how big it was, and I was just like,
I fucking love
it. I literally can't handle how big it's going to be. And then when it launched and it was like shit, everyone's like, fucking Rockstar, what a bunch of cunts.
I think it's not even about games, it's about everything, in the same way that it's like, the widow at the party.
Narrative,
what happened to husband? Very sad.
Yeah, like
it's so sad.
Yeah, the Strokes third album, that's a bollocks.
Oh, that's a shame. I think everybody secretly,
British people are cunts,
enjoys watching people fail.
Schadenfreude,
even especially, I mean, like, no one likes to see really, really nice people fail, but
of course not.
But if they're really successful, then people enjoy it.
If they're really successful and someone's told me they're an arsehole, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah, precisely. Okay, let's do some questions. Right, so Nat Engen Pimblet, that's a great name if it is a real name, says, favourite games to play for less than 30 minutes at a time?
Mine's probably Trials or FTL.
FTL, you see, I always intend to play for less than 30 minutes and end up playing for about 4 hours until I realise I'm so hungry I'm about to fall over and I need to have a shower and get out of my pants. It's very much a morning game for me, so that's way too much. I've just handed E for more mental imagery than anyone ever wants.
Have you ever thought about, like, instead of working from home all the time, maybe rented an office where there's other people around?
I worry about you.
So I kind of, no, honestly.
I picture you chiseling yourself out of your underwear.
No, this was like, this isn't like now. That was back when I was employed.
Okay.
I think that's the thing, because back when I was working a full-time job, I was way more comfortable about like spending all my evenings playing Dota and spending my weekends in my pants playing FTL, because you have barriers. Whereas when you start to be your home and office, it's like you've got to be fucking careful. Otherwise, it's suddenly like, this is what I do now. I am the FTL man.
My favourite game is Hotline Miami. Like, I'll play that for the rest of my life, I think. Like, I played it all the way through on my Mac. I played it through on PC, PS3. Played it through on Vita about 1 million times now, and I play it all.
I still haven't fucking finished it on my Vita. Yeah,
you need to finish it.
I'll tell you a game I've playing actually this week that I've been playing. I like playing half an hour, and I finally finished it. A bit disappointed by the ending, I've got to be honest. But I've been playing Little Inferno.
Oh yeah. That's a good game, man.
It's a great game.
I played it in one sitting though.
Wow, that must have been quite a long sitting.
It's all right. No, it doesn't take that long.
The thing about Little Inferno that I love is it's like...
I played it all the way through and finished the actual thing in one sitting. Like,
I mean,
I didn't get all the like combos and shit like that.
You need to get quite a lot to get through the game. But it's just the fact that like basically it's a game where you burn things.
Oh, okay.
What are you playing it on?
On the PC.
So it was one of the first like download games that came out for the Wii U, so I was just like, this is awesome. It's
Oh,
amazing.
I imagine on the Wii U would be great.
Yeah.
But no, basically the idea is like you've purchased a little Inferno entertainment system, and it's just a fireplace that you sit in front of, burning things, and you have a catalogue. It's really good because you have a catalogue of stuff that you buy things. You buy something, then you have to wait, and it does a little timer, and then the package arrives, and then you take it out of the package and you burn it. And then when you burn it, and the fire is really cool, like the way that they actually programmed it so that it sounds like fire, it looks like fire, behaves like fire, and you can lift up the objects while they're burning and twist them around and watch the flame flick around
hypnotic,
them. It is. But what's lovely is the fact that you buy things, increasingly really nice things,
and just
burn them, and then you get more money from it, which you then spend on ordering things from a gift catalogue that you burn.
More stuff.
And basically, you're just increasingly just burning things.
It's amazing. But then you have like the other thing as well. You have like combos.
Yeah.
So it's sort of it introduces like a tiny little puzzle thing into it where you go like you're looking at your combo list and you're like, well, I can't think of one off the top of my head. It's played gone so long ago. But one of them is just like, something like a bucket burner or something like that. So you think like, oh well, that's going to be the bucket and this, and then
you burn them together,
and then and
that's kind of fun. But actually, that was the one thing about the game I didn't like. Because,
really?
Yeah, because sometimes the combos they got really annoying in the fact that sometimes you'd be like, it must be this, and it isn't. And
no, I like that though because I was just like, there was never anything when I actually found out what it was and I actually worked it out. There was never anything that I was just like, that is bollocks. Oh no,
there were a couple for me that I was like, oh really? I don't know. I don't know. But generally, what I love about it is the fact that it's kind of.
It's really dark.
It's taking the piss out of so much stuff at once. It's taking the piss out of consumerism in the fact that basically you're just buy for no reason and getting rid of it.
You don't know what your world is either. You don't know why you're in
it. Is it literally
like
just
that,
the fireplace? That's all.
You're just staring at this fireplace. And then also it's like, so it's taking the piss out of consumerism. It's also taking the piss out of like, it's basically not, it's making a point about environmentalism in the fact that you're basically just like, just consuming, and it's like it always has like people talking about the fog over the city, and the weatherman's like, oh, it's fog again today, like every day, because the idea that everyone's just in the houses burning things.
And you keep getting letters as well
just
from the person
all this
next door.
Your neighbour sends you letters, and she's burning things as well, and it's so much fun.
You don't know why you're all burning these things.
No,
that's interesting.
No, and I kind of felt like the way the story was resolved didn't really kind of. I kind of almost.
It's not very good.
Is there a story?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's good. It is it's good, but it's like it thinks it's a lot cleverer than it is.
I would have preferred it if it hadn't ended the story. I would have preferred it if it had left it all ambiguous because it's so weird and dark. The idea of people just sitting in their houses ordering things and then watching them burn.
That is quite dark.
But also, it's making a point about environmentalism and the fact that we just consume whilst senselessly whilst damaging the environment. It's making a point about consumerism as well. But it's also like, because of the way the game works, it feels very much like an iOS game. We have to wait for things to happen.
That,
and
like you unlock
things, cooldowns. And
you unlock special tokens that you can use to make the cooldowns go away. And you never. Doesn't have.
It's not paid for or anything like that.
There's no microtransactions, but it's clearly aping that.
Right.
And it's clearly aping the way that, like, what I always find fascinating about playing this game for half an hour is I start playing it, and the first few things I burn them quite slowly and considerately, and I look at them and I kind of enjoy the procce.
Watching them sort
of. Then it accelerates until I'm just going tapping on things, and I'm just burning. And it's like, it always makes me think about the way that I consume things and the way that anything, games, media, like, you know, you start
when
off,
you get something new, it's like shiny and you're very respectful.
You sit down
of it,
and you have the ritual.
Like, yes, exactly, like an unboxing, like you very slowly open things up.
But then the ritual quickly becomes replaced by a frenzy.
But also, if you, like, the more you have, the less considerate you are of what you do have. Like, you're just like, fuck it, like you just throw in empty boxes around.
And so you start off buying individual things, and then you're buying like 6 things at a time and just burning them all without thinking. And
that's the thing, like I did at one point, because especially when you're using like the Wii U stylus to suck stuff on as well, which feels like really good, because you just like and you can see it like just go up in flames. But there's a bit where like, I think there was only one bit where I was just like, that must be the combo. Why isn't that the combo? And then I was just like, I'm fucking spending everything now. I burn everything. I don't give a fuck. Like,
even the fact that whenever you get sent a letter after you've read the letter, you burn it. Like it's just
this all-consuming need to like just destroy.
It's really nihilistic. It's
there's
really
a thing that you can unlock where if you keep every letter.
Well, no, there was a bit at the end where I won't spoil it.
That's it.
I think there must be something you could do, because that was like maybe laugh.
Is it only the Wii U?
No, it's on everything.
It's on everything.
Okay.
And the thing that I've got to say about this that is really fucking odd is it's like, you know, usually I talk about these games and go, oh, it's a very interesting game. It raises a lot of interesting points. But the thing about it is it does all that, but while you're doing it, it's really entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's weird and interesting, because all you are doing is pressing buttons, buying stuff. I mean, a lot of the descriptions of the items are really funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of the way that things burn
It's really funny.
is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But just
It's
something...
a nice little world as
There is
well.
something inherently really satisfying about just buying things and burning them.
shit, yeah.
And yeah, I can't... Yeah. It's easy for people to look at that and go, oh, it's one of those sort of arty games that isn't really a game. And it's like, it isn't, but it's really satisfying.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend that. But
Better than burning real shit. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Seamus of Sandair asks, what is your opinion on the recent Gama Sutra article about the ethics of YouTubers and how important are the stats shown?
I thought the Eurogamer article was better.
Yeah.
I think the Eurogamer article was better,
It's
but I mean,
definitely
it's
more
Simon
considered.
fucking Parkin. He's very
Super
good.
talented.
Yeah.
He's very good. He's one of the few journalists in the industry who is just he is genuinely a really good journalist.
Yeah, I'm really glad
there aren't many of them.
Yeah, I'm really glad he doesn't do video, and I'm really glad that I don't write articles, because if I did, I could
He's the standard.
It'd be like I'd be like, oh, I think I've written something really, really good.
No.
Simon Parkin's articles come out. All right, just delete it all then.
That's kind of partially why I decided to. That's why I stopped writing in a weird way. Like, I was like, I used to write, and I was like, you know what? I'm not a bad writer. I'm all right. But I'm quite good at making videos. I'm better at making videos than I am at writing.
Yeah.
And with people like
Parkin's not making videos. So.
people like Parkin and there's a bunch of guys in the UK.
Christian Donlan.
Yeah, Donlan.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'll always write, because it's not comparing
absolutely.
it to other people. It's it's getting stuff.
Keep reaching for
off.
that shiny penny. You never know.
I need to have something.
I just I don't know, I just sort of, I always try and aspire to be producing what I think is close to the best work in my field.
Of course.
And
you
looking at
should
those
do
guys,
that.
I'm like, fuckers, I'm not going to fucking do that.
Yeah, they make it look so fucking effortless.
They
So
do.
I'm just like, ugh.
But yeah, I think some interesting points were raised with that. I would say actually, the reason I asked this question is because I don't want to really dwell on it too much, because it's I've already ranted about this a lot.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was interesting was how important the stats shown. And I think the interesting thing about the Gama Sutra thing, in case you didn't know, it was basically showed that
Pie chart, wasn't it?
it was a pie chart, and if you have more than 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, then the number of people who've been approached by publishers
Skyrockets.
offered money, it does skyrocket, but it doesn't. I think it jumps up to being like...
The only thing that I didn't notice with the Gama Sutra article was how many people they'd actually polled. I don't know if that was really, really obvious.
How many was it again?
I missed
I
that. That's the thing.
remember.
I completely
Yeah,
missed
that's
it.
the thing is,
It must have been quite a small sample size, because there
think it
aren't
is.
that
But I kind
many.
of think that the sample size doesn't matter that much, because the thing was, it ended up being something like about 29 or 20... I can't remember, but I remember it being a jump.
Yeah.
But actually it doesn't matter, because it's one of those things where it would have to... The statistics, and this is my old psychology brain coming in, the statistics will have to be altered to be proportional.
Yeah.
Because actually it doesn't matter if 30% of YouTubers who have over 5,000 subscribers have been offered money.
Yeah.
It only really matters if the top 30 or 40 channels.
Yeah.
And there's so many channels that have more than 5,000
Yeah.
subscribers. So many.
Yeah.
I stumble across some real shockers, some really shit things, and I go, why the fuck are 7,000? Look at that.
Yeah.
But
I was watching one channel today because someone sent me going, this is one of your countrymen, and it's this Welsh dude opening up those FIFA Ultimate Team packs.
Oh, that's very popular.
And he sent me this video, and he's just he's literally he has no charisma. He's obviously an absolute cunt. I wish I could remember his name. It's like Gnorth or something like that. I don't care. He's a fucking arsehole.
fine.
And he's just going, whoa, what the fuck, fucking Messi, whoa. And I was watching it going, what an absolute cunt. 1.2 million views.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
And I was
That's
just yep,
YouTube, isn't
shut
it? Like,
the
look
computer
at
down.
fucking KSI and all those.
yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. But I kind of
If
feel
it's,
like
this guy's one of his most watched videos is a video of him playing FIFA against KSI.
I kind of feel like looking at precisely. I kind of feel like the percentage of people who are being offered money doesn't really matter. It's the people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Yeah.
They're the ones with. It's like the amount of power on YouTube is held by such a small group of people that's the only thing you really need to look at.
Yeah.
Like if some guy with 10,000 subscribers is getting offered a couple of grand,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
really have an impact.
I think it's just quite interesting though, just because I feel like it's reached a turning point. I mean, most people in the games media industry have sort of been talking around this for quite some time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it seems like these couple articles over the last couple of days,
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually
weird,
making
isn't it?
people
Yeah.
to start
I'm
consider.
really
Which
happy.
is shit, because it was this assumption that YouTubers are totally honest all
Yeah.
the time, whereas if you go to we've been to a lot of preview events and stuff
Yeah.
like that where there are YouTubers there and they don't do some of them are, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them really, really passionate, dedicated to what they do, but a lot of them that's
Well, as well,
they're not held to the same standards because they
definitely
don't
not.
understand. A lot of them are very, very young.
And I think the frustration has been is it often looks to be like a kind of a lot of people look at traditional media talking about YouTubers, and they think it's just people being like bitter. But it's more the fact that because we have contact with a lot of the industry and a lot of the people who also deal with YouTubers, we know a lot about what they do and how they operate.
We also that was the thing that the in fairness, the Gamma Sutra and the Eurogame article didn't really point out that much. They kept referring to like YouTubers as like this all-encompassing thing,
right?
And actually, it's a very, very small part.
It's a very small,
like, If you most YouTubers are like I've encountered like like middle tier, like top tier, and people with like less than 10,000 subs. Like, there's a lot of them are complete arseholes, and you could think those people would probably take. But it's not even about character. A lot of them are fucking really passionate guys and just really care about what they're doing.
Absolutely, but the problem is that like because they only have their peers to look to, and they don't have bosses. The difference is with editorial, you've got a boss looking at.
But that's the problem as well. Like I mean, the article, the one point that I kind of had problems with was it said that but these YouTubers they're not coming, or they're not stating that they're coming from a position of authority.
Yeah.
But surely once you get past a certain audience,
Signs,
you do have authority.
And there's such a thin line. People say, it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you still have responsibility because think about the age group of the kids that are watching.
This is the thing that we were.
They
don't
understand.
Well, this is the biggest
thing.
What
you said last night.
Basically, that my stance with the thing particularly. I mean, there's a whole bunch of problems with it. I'm glad to see this stuff coming to light because we know so much stuff that we cannot talk about simply because it would be libellous.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're all quite trained with legal.
Yeah.
When you
have to be, right?
You have to be, otherwise you're going to get your publications sent on there. But we know stuff is dodgy. It's nice to see people highlighting some of this stuff. But with the Yogscast, it's really simple. It's like the fact that they've got a huge amount of power. Their audience is very largely made up of kids. They are doing the absolute minimum to disclose the situation. They've got in descriptions on video.
The kids don't understand the language that they use.
Kids don't understand. Probably wouldn't. If you said to a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old, what's an avatorial? They wouldn't have a clue.
But they don't even say that. Like, what was it? It said in that Eurogamer article that the most they do is like a byline saying thanks to publisher X for making this possible. What does that mean to anyone?
I saw on this Yogsdiscovery thing, like in the description. So the description point doesn't appear like so. If you use YouTube, you have to click on the more to see everything else. The description point doesn't appear until you click on the more. When was the last time you clicked on more on a video, on a YouTube video? You never do. But it says like. This is part of the Yogsdiscovery, which means we take a small part of revenue. Like it's not.
I'm not being funny. The thing is that they are now a media company. They hire a lot of people. They've hired business people.
Yeah.
They're not. They can't just be like, we're just people. We got it wrong. Yeah. They are knowingly deceiving children on quite a major scale, and that's I think something which I think is pretty abhorrent. Just ugly. It's not illegal. Sure, they're not breaking the law, but I think it's just unpleasant. And a lot of people said to me, but I really like their videos and I trust them. It's like, well, you can like their videos if you want, but do appreciate that what they're doing is not pleasant.
I like quite a lot of their videos, and I think like some of I think like Yogs Has Kim. I think like her videos are like generally like the top.
It's a really great area.
Those are amazing.
But I think what they're doing as a company and the direction they're taking themselves in, I think is ugly.
It's a very grey area
and unpleasant. I think it's beyond grey. I mean, actually, the thing that I found saddest was the way that they talk about this Yogsdiscovery thing, which is basically their system. They say that they have to, and this is something that frustrates me for two very simple reasons. They say that they have to account for the potential losses of covering a game which doesn't turn out to be popular.
That's mad.
It is mad. It's mad for two reasons. The first reason is the fact that you are the fucking Yogscast. You have one of the largest networks on the fucking YouTube. You will make games popular just by playing them, right?
Well, they obviously, they know,
and
that,
they do, and they know that. The second thing as well is it's like, you know what? If you find yourself playing a game
and enjoying
that is really fucking good and making videos about it, and then that game doesn't turn out to be popular.
Because whatever happened to just doing that? Do you know what I mean? This is where all these YouTubers start.
I had this thing like people have joked about this in the past, right? People have joked about what I did with Dragon's Dogma and saying, I hope Capcom paid you for that, paid you well for that, because basically the videos I did at OXM
made it popular,
to they went viral. They made the game popular. Without that, Dragon's Dogma wouldn't be a success. And people at Capcom have still liked me despite a lot of shit I've said about their games since, because they know that. But the thing is, like, I didn't do that I did that because I love games, and knowing that I have taken a game that is great and given it to an audience who then appreciate it, that's like what I do. That's why I do it as passion. And for them to come out and say, that's not really, for that not to be a factor of being like, hey, we just like ensuring
we wanted
that
to play
said that. That's mad.
It's just it's
quite sad.
It has such a sad approach.
What if we cover a game that ends up not being that popular?
Just sounds like they've lost their way. Like, come on,
that's the thing. Did
they actually say that? That's
absolutely. It's to cover their costs of the risk. It's to reduce the risk of covering games that don't end up being popular videos. And it's like, you know what, guys, like you've lost your way. Like if I mean, they say that they're entertainers and stuff, but it's like,
that's not entertainment. That's
it's marketing. I mean, basically, they've got to a point where they're
really dirty.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's incredibly sad, and it's one of the things where I've skirted around it in the past with the Yogscast, and I've kind of been like, I disagree with them and stuff. But I think as a company now, I've got absolutely no time for them, and I think it's difficult because I do know people who work for them. I like people who work for them, but I think they're abhorrent, and I think that their direction at the moment is completely indefensible, and they're just a marketing tool. And for them to suggest that they're anything else at the moment is just laughable. It's and I've had lots of arguments on Twitter with people, and I'm going to start blocking people soon because it's like the amount of people I've had being like, oh, but I really like the Yogscast. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter. It's this thing of I feel like they're pissing in my backyard and acting like this is the way to do it. If you're making content, editorial content about video games, and your primary thought is, oh, are we going to make loads of money from it?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out.
I think the main thing to take from it, and I think that I didn't think about until very, very recently, was, as you said, their audience is children.
Yeah.
Their audience is children, and that's
like
the thing.
8-year-old kids and stuff. So you think like, imagine it being on like, you know, Nickelodeon and stuff like that, like, you know, and fucking Ren and Stimpy coming up. And
I mean, the way they've shaped their business is built around that as well. Let's not. I mean, look, it's a smart idea, and I think up until recently I had respect for it, right? Because what they've done is they've got this very like iconic art style of the cartoon character. Everyone becomes this character. Yeah. They're part of the Yogs team. They're Yognauts.
Yeah.
And they've got a great system in place.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Rather than having to worry about maintaining the same fan base for 15 years, they just go, well,
there's always one. There's always one here
kids.
for you.
And you know what? Like, those kids will get 14, 15. They'll realise the Yogscast isn't very cool. Yeah. They'll go and do other things. But by that point, they've got a whole new army of kids.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had some respect for that because they weren't trying to grow up with their audience, and they were creating basically a modern equivalent.
Like CBeebies, exactly.
Yeah, they were creating a modern equivalent of kids' TV for a new generation. And I had time for that. And even though I didn't personally like their videos, I thought it was a smart idea, and I thought they did it well. But this stuff, it's dirty. It's really dirty.
Why did you come up with the idea for it?
I don't know, but I mean, the thing is, they have been doing it for a while, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I've heard murmurs of this from developers. I've seen developers openly tweeting about it on Twitter and bitching about it to each other. Yeah. And it seems like the only reason that they revealed it this week, and this is all conjecture, is the fact that
they were forced to.
Parkin was interviewing them about it, and then he actually said on Twitter...
They did an open letter on Reddit, right?
Yeah. He said, on Twitter, Parkin said, it's the first time I've been gazumped by somebody in an interview, in the fact that they knew that he was going to report on it, so they got ahead of it.
The chase,
And it's just...
It's mad.
Well, that shows you that they were sensitive about it, right?
I don't know. I mean, I must stipulate that this is not an accusation, but I have over the past like 6 months seen quite a lot of people on Twitter referring to one of the biggest UK YouTube companies in the world, YouTube channels, demanding that they are paid, like that they are given a cut of the game sales if they're to cover it in video form. Mm-hmm. And pitching that to developers as a service, saying, "Look, and I don't know if that is the Yogscast,
right?
But it seems to me that at the time I was sort of like, there seemed to be a lot of people hinting that, and now with what's come around, it sort of looks like, I don't know, but I just feel like they're in a situation where they're trying to canvas money from fans, publishers, and adverts.
But it's just a shame when so many other fucking games media businesses are scrabbling to make money and just can't do it.
It's just the wrong way of doing it as well. They've gone, right, okay, they've looked at, if we make a video about a game, it's going to directly influence something. If you look at there's charts for like Flappy Bird, and it's just like Flappy Bird is just like, right? And then as soon as PewDiePie did a video on it, it was just like, brink. And it's just like, they've recognised that, and fair enough.
And you've got a wonderful opportunity to promote games and make games fucking so much better.
Isn't that why you started making these videos in the first place?
It's about, use your position of power and your position of wealth
to make the gaming industry so much better, to give people great opportunities. And
I don't know, I mean, I have a lot of people, for those of you who don't know, you may listen to podcasts now. I mean, I kind of get my funding to do a bit of this podcast, but mainly video stuff. This is sort of separate, to do stuff from crowdfunding. And there are lots of people who think that's not right. Lots of people think that you shouldn't actually be getting your audience to pay for the content that you're making, and that's a bigger issue for another time. But I kind of think fundamentally
that's transparent.
Well, the thing is, I think that's a valid query. That's a valid concern to have, and I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
Whereas what the Yogscast are now doing is they're getting money from advertisers, they're getting money from publishers who make games, and they're getting money.
Was it Yogscast that charged their fans like 40 quid for like signing autographs and stuff?
I believe it may have been, yeah.
I actually don't think that was that bad though, because
at the end of the day,
it was 40 quid, and for that you got a ticket.
And they kickstarted a game for $500,000, which has never come out as well. It feels like they are basically creaming off everybody, and I feel like at least there's some purity in just creaming off one group of being like, you know what, like, I mean, like either like, you know what, I'm gonna go to fucking town on the adverts, and I'm gonna fucking go to town on the sponsorships, or you know what, I'm gonna like get the people who make the games to pay me money. Like, just do one and be honest about it. But doing all of it is just like, it's annoying, because the thing is, what's most frustrating about all this stuff is nothing will happen, because their audience are kids.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this, and people can be listening to this going, this might be interesting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because it's kids.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when if the thing that people are talking about is like this YouTube tip jar comes in, where, you know, people can watch a video and they can donate to a video. And it'll be interesting to see like how the Yogs has handled that, because that will be kids.
Well, because this was the interesting thing that came up with the Eurogamer article as well. It's just that at the moment, like, YouTube is, I mean, this is people trying to monetize what, you know, I mean, everyone's trying to monetize content
to monetize,
because of the internet and the nature of, you know, content. A lot of content out there is free. You know, YouTube, most of the advertising or the sales or the money is coming from advertising, so people are scrabbling to find different ways and making their jobs sustainable.
But I think what people don't realise about the Yogscast is the fact that it's not just like a handful of guys making stuff trying to like make money. It's the fact that they've chosen to do this. You know, they're not YouTubers anymore. They've chosen to try and step it up and create a media empire.
It's a mogul,
And the problem is that means they've got more mouths to feed, and it means that now the YouTube money just isn't enough to
and you also got more people looking at them as well because of that, and you know, this is exactly why.
But it's one of these weird things when it's just like, well, you know, like when you're one of the biggest channels and you're getting that kind of views and that kind of ad money, and to be like, oh, it's not enough, we need more. It's like, you've done something wrong with your business. You're spending above your means.
Their main dude, Mark Turbin, there was a quote from him that said, none of the games will actually have, you know, if they're in Yogsdiscovery, that's not going to have any influence on the video that we make for them, on the actual editorial video. It was like,
really?
By doing it, it's already got an influence, isn't it? Because you're going, what are we doing today? Oh, we're doing that Yogsdiscovery video. Already in your head. Like,
well, it just means there are increasingly, they will only cover games that have agreed to be a part of that. If developers do take it up, then it means that they won't be covering games on the basis of whether or not they're good. They'll be covering games.
Are they just going to? Are they just not going to? Because I was about, I'd just be like, just don't do it as part of that. And,
well, I mean, I guess if they've got enough people interested in doing it, then that would be natural. Why would you cover a game that was going to earn you less money? The other thing that I think I hadn't thought about, that a lot of YouTubers, I mean, obviously I don't think about this shit because it's not what I do. I'm not a big YouTuber by any stretch. But a lot of YouTubers are getting pissed off because it's basically, it's not an affiliate link. They're just getting a kickback on every sale within that month.
Yeah.
Which means if another YouTuber makes videos that make the game popular,
they don't even. Yeah, they're
getting somebody else's the fruits of somebody else's fruit salad.
How do you even quantify that? That's
you don't. It's and this is what it boils down to. Unfortunately, is the fact that like. I think actually somebody on Twitter said something, and it was really inappropriate. It was a shit joke, but somebody sort of said, "Oh yeah, they're basically whoring themselves out in an alley," and I'm like, "Well, no, that's an inappropriate comment for a whole variety of reasons, but also it's just so inaccurate because there's nothing about this. This is desperate. They are standing from a position of incredible power.
They are setting all the fucking boundaries. Like they are holding all the cards.
It's like they're not,
guys, come to us.
Yeah, they're not whoring themselves out. They are manipulating a position of extreme power.
Yeah.
And I haven't got a lot of time for that. Anyway, we've rambled on about that for a very long time.
Yeah, I like how you were like, oh, I don't want to go on about this.
Well, I don't. The thing is, I do try and keep this podcast to be mostly about games, but there are certain issues and certain things.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and we're all working it. So
I don't want to like turn things into a bitch fest, but I think this one's difficult because I think, as we say, it's about kids. No, we haven't. We absolutely haven't. We're professionals, Susan. We're professionals. But yeah, it's worrying, and there's nothing we can do about it, which is a bit of a shitter. But anyway. Thank you very much. There's just stuff in the world. Like, everything's a bit fucked up. All we can do is just try and make the world nearby to you slightly better. So
Yes.
give a stranger within arm's reach a little
Reach around.
No,
Not reach around.
No, Gav. Not reach
Jesus.
around.
I'm ending this podcast right now. Thank you very much for listening. Again, joined by Aoife Wilson
Bye.
and Gav Murphy.
Bye.
Thank you very much for listening. Bye.